organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, classes are back in session and the spring semester is underway. But was the break a little too long? Plus, students trekked into class in the snow, but it's a historical winter. We'll explain later.
And in sports, a national title contender becomes clear on the Iowa wrestling squad. In sports, see who's ahead of the pack.
That's all coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Thanks for tuning into your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan. I'm Reed Chandler. While some students may be happy to be back on their class schedules, many are begging for a break by the end of finals week. Even so, others feel the month off from school is a bit too long. Daily Iowan TV's Brad Maxwell investigates why.
After a long break for the holidays, students around the university are getting back into the swing of things. Tuesday marked the first day of spring classes, and although students are back to bearing difficult weather and long lectures, many seem glad to be back on campus.
It's good to be back, ready to start classes again, and get back into it. Got some work to do.
While the time away from school is a great chance to catch up on some much-needed rest or make a little extra money, many students find themselves ready to come back by the last week of break. Unlike the University of Iowa, classes resumed last week for both the University of Northern Iowa and Iowa State.
The University of Iowa is the only public university in the state to have a full month between classes. This raises the question, is a month too long to be gone from school? I caught up with a few students to get their opinion on the matter.
I think it's good to get refreshed and kind of just take a break, and since we don't have a fall break really, it's good to get that whole month off.
It's extremely long. It's almost too long.
Well, last year it made me kind of restless to get back, but I didn't mind sleeping until noon every day.
You're on break, and you just want to be totally done for the rest of time, or it should be shortened up a little.
Although opinions differ from student to student, many seem to have similar views on the ups and downs of the long break. Holiday vacation is a great time to kick back with the family, laugh with old friends, and catch up on some much-needed sleep. But by the end, many students are just as eager to begin the new semester as they were to be done with the last. I'm Brad Maxwell, Daily Iowan TV.
In addition to giving students some time off, the holiday break allows the university staff to catch up on maintenance around campus, such as the recently completed Art Building West, which officially opened today. And with more options than ever, students are finding new ways to purchase textbooks. Whether it be online rentals, library checkouts, or buying used books, we caught up with students to see how they're going about obtaining reading material for the semester.
Yeah, I bought my books from Beat the Bookstore. I bought them all used.
University bookstore. And I feel like it's more convenient because I could actually rent my books or I could just charge it to the U-Bill.
First I look up how much the books are on Amazon, and I can get them cheaper a lot of times.
I actually go on chugg.com and you can rent your books there, and it's way cheaper than getting them at the bookstores.
And switching from books to movies, remember that mess of a merger between Netflix and Quickster a few months back? Well, now investors are suing the online movie rental website for money that was lost in the split. The suit claims that management at Netflix traded stock with their inflated prices prior to the Quickster announcement. Netflix has not responded to the lawsuit. And you may think that wine is mostly consumed by Italians, Greeks, or other heavy wine-drinking countries, but think again. According to a CNN study, Americans lead the world in wine consumption. In 2011, Americans consumed roughly $3.7 billion of wine. Italy came in second, followed by France and Germany. Now back to Iowa City. A judge has ruled that trial for one University of Iowa student will be held outside Johnson County. 20-year-old UI student Brandon Plummer was charged with attempted murder after he allegedly strangled a police officer last November. Plummer's attorney filed to change the trial's location in order to ensure Plummer has a fair trial following heavy media coverage of the case. An Oxford man has been charged after he allegedly stole his girlfriend's car. Iowa City police charged 24-year-old Derek Dawson with second-degree theft. Police reports say Dawson took his girlfriend's keys from her bedroom before driving away with their car without her permission. And Iowa City officials are working on ways to cut down on fights outside the old Capitol Mall. Daily Iowan TV's Dora Grote joins us from the newsroom for more.
Thanks, Reed. I'm in the newsroom with Metro editor Allison Sullivan. Allison, you're working on a story about violence near the old Capitol Mall. What's the scoop?
Well, basically, I talked to several people in the community, as well as city officials, just about the violence in that area. There's been some police enforcement there to kind of handle that, and so people are talking about, are there other ways maybe that they can address the problem?
Thanks, Allison. You could read more about this story in tomorrow's Daily Iowan. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Dora. Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, history has been made in Iowa City as a record-breaking amount of snow has fallen. We'll explain. Plus, in sports, an Iowa alum has returned back home, but this time as a coach. We'll tell you who coming up in sports. But first, Daily Iowan TV's Tasha Woods joins us in the newsroom for a report on some interesting winter weather.
Thanks, Reed. It's clear that winter has been out of the ordinary with the late arrival from Mother Nature, but the cold weather is sure to make a comeback with dropping temperatures and snow filling up the sidewalks and streets.
Most Iowa students say they haven't witnessed a winter like this their entire lives, and there is truth to that statement because it has been one of the mildest winters in Iowa history.
Certainly turned out to be quite interesting. I kind of enjoyed the warmer weather around the 40s and 50s we had in the beginning, but I kind of realized when it hit like mid-January, like we have it now, it's going to strike us back a little bit. And it's a little crazy. I don't know when the last time we've had weather like this before, as far as I remember. It's been fun. At the same time, now it's having its drawbacks to it.
Iowa has experienced unusual spring-like temperatures, pushing 60 degrees late into the season. An overall 30.2 degrees statewide average daily temperature makes this the 5th warmest early winter on record. But Iowa isn't the only one that's getting warm temperatures. The National Climatic Data Center reported that worldwide, the temperature average for winter was a startling 54.9.
And later I'll be back for an extended weather update.
Thanks for that, Tasha. We'll catch up with you a little later for our forecast, but now Daily Iowan TV's Nick Robertson joins me for Hawkeye Sports.
Thanks, Reed. A former Iowa golfer is returning to Iowa City, but this time as an assistant coach. Laura Sillick is an Iowa City native who attended West High before taking her clubs across the street to Finkbine for 4 years with the Hawkeyes, from 2007 to 2011. A captain of the team for 3 years of those seasons, Sillick is the first assistant coach hired by the first-year head coach of the women's golf team, Megan Menzel. During her Iowa career, Sillick not only averaged a mere 78.6 strokes her senior year, but also won 4 Big Ten Sportsmanship Awards and 3 academic All-Big Ten selections. And as college football season comes to an end, so marks the exodus of college football players to the NFL. On Tuesday, the NFL named players who are invited to the NFL Combine on February 22nd, 5 of which are names of former Hawkeyes. Wide receiver Marvin McNutt and offensive guard Marcus Zusefix were invited on the offensive trials, and linebacker Tyler Nielsen, defensive tackle Mike Daniels, and corner Sean Prater were invited from the defense. Invitations have not been sent out for juniors who have entered the draft, so it's still not known if former offensive tackle Riley Reiff has been invited. It was just a week and a half ago when Iowa 133-pounder Tony Ramos upset #1 wrestler in the weight class, Oklahoma State's defending national champion Jordan Oliver. The overtime victory washed away any doubt that Ramos wasn't the real deal. Daily Iowan TV Sports' Chelsea Burns takes a close look at the rise of the sophomore star.
Sheer determination that makes Tony Ramos so. It's this look of sheer determination that makes Tony Ramos so good. Ramos is undefeated in Carver Hawkeye Arena, extending his streak to 13-0 on Saturday with a first period pin in Iowa's duel against Northwestern. This jump to the top for Ramos didn't just happen. In fact, he was ranked #2 in the preseason.
Started last year, there was a 10-match winning streak in there somewhere, and it's because he was going after points. He was trying to score. It wasn't about trying to win matches or eking them out. or protecting leads. It was about widening the gap and just going out and scoring points, and he's done that.
At the halfway point of the season with a program like Iowa Wrestling, national championship buzz begins. And Ramos, along with his fellow lightweight Matt McDonough, are proving they can contend.
And they're never satisfied. That's the difference. That's the difference. They get a lot accomplished in the practice room, and there's a lot of points being scored, a lot of activity.
It's that next level Ramos can go to that sets him apart. You can see it in his eyes. He's not going anywhere. Chelsea Byrne, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Ramos was awarded Big Ten Wrestler of the Week this past week. It was the second time he has received the honor in his career. And speaking of wrestling, the Hawks have a tough road ahead of them with meets against 3 top 10 squads in the Big Ten. The stretch starts with 8th-ranked Ohio State on January 20th in Columbus. Next are the Nittany Lions of Penn State, who are ranked 3rd. The Hawks travel to College Park on January 22nd for the meet. Iowa then comes back to Iowa City for the border brawl against 4th-ranked Minnesota on the 29th. So, Reed, it's not the best schedule to try and have to close a season for the 2nd-ranked Hawks, but when has it ever been easy goings for Big Ten wrestling?
All right, thanks, Nick. It was an extremely cold day today with snow and really heavy winds. I'm hoping we get some sunshine soon. I'll get my answer from Tasha Woods, who's back with us again for a look at what we can expect over the next few days.
Yeah, thanks, Reed. Let's take a look at our extended forecast. Tomorrow we can expect to see it a little nicer than it was today, but don't get too comfortable because the following 2 days are going to be pretty bitter with temperatures below 20. Good news is it looks like our weekend weather will be the brightest days of the week as sunshine will creep in with highs on Saturday of 28 and jump up to 38 by Sunday. That's a look at your 6-day forecast. Reed, back to you.
And before we leave you tonight, you may finally be able to have it even more your way as Burger King is starting to test out a new home delivery system. The popular food chain is starting to test this method of service at select locations in the Washington, D.C. area. Maybe they'll come out west for our benefit. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Find out how new moped parking regulations are affecting Iowa drivers in Iowa City. Plus, how to drive safely during the winter season. That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. For Daily Iowan TV, thanks for watching and have a great night.